Welcome to Trestle Times Talks, the voice of Franklin, New Hampshire. This is brought to you by the Franklin Communications Group, which is a nonpartisan, volunteer-powered network bringing local news and community stories to your ears. Subscribe to stay informed, share to keep your neighbors in the know, and if you've got news to share, the contact details are in the show notes. Now, here's what's happening in Franklin. Hello and welcome everybody to the City of Franklin Candidate Series here at Trestle Times, where we bring you conversation with candidates running for the 2025 municipal election. Thank you guys for subscribing and sharing. Your interest helps illuminate the civic conversation in our community. Today we are pleased and welcome to bring Ben Forge, this way, he's on this side, who is running for City Council in Ward 1. His opponent is Bruce Marshall. Welcome to the podcast.
Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. So we're just going to start a little bit to learn about you. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Sure. My name's Ben Forge. I'm running for Ward 1 City Council. I grew up here in Franklin. I graduated high school here. My wife, Kristen, also grew up here in Franklin. So, we are a Franklin family. Very proud of that as well.
Yes.
We purchased our home in the same neighborhood that I'm from, up in Ward 1, up by the lake.
That's awesome.
Spent a lot of time at the lake growing up. So a lot of fond memories. We've lived in Ward 1 for 10 years. We have 3 children, Madison, Charlie, and Cole. All 3 of them attend all 3 of the Franklin schools. So we have a thread with them that way. Yeah. I hold a bachelor's degree in criminal justice. I've been blessed with a real good career in criminal justice. I've been employed with the county, with Merrimack County for 22 years. I started my career as a corrections officer.
Okay.
Yeah, good career, in interesting path for sure. A lot of good experience. I've worked in promoted through numerous facets of the Department of Corrections. I'm currently assigned as the captain of offender services. I oversee all of the jail's programs, and just for fun, I enjoy spending time with my family on camping trips. I love watching my children grow, playing sports and doing dance and their various hobbies. I enjoy fishing, and I love taking rides on my motorcycle with my wife.
Ooh, that sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you for all that information. So we get a full picture of kind of who you are and where you're at and where you're from and where you've lived your entire life in Ward 1. So only Ward 1 people will be able to vote for you, but you will be representing the whole city, right?
Correct.
So what inspired you to run for City Council in Ward 1?
Well, it kind of started with friends and family. We spend a lot of time camping. We sit around the campfire, and oftentimes it's with other friends and family from Franklin.
Yeah.
Growing up here, it might be, my friend's parents or my parents. So we enjoy sitting around and we chat a lot about what's going on around the city. We share our opinions, we share our positions on things, where we would go, and just some of that back and forth. I had people kind of nudge me a little bit, like, hey, maybe you're at a place for a new challenge. And I said, interesting that you bring it up. I wanted to take the opportunity. So back in July, there was a temporary opening in City Council. In the Ward 1, one of the Ward 1 councilors had retired and resigned. I had put in for that with some interest. The process went through. I wasn't selected for it. I wasn't a super fan the way that went. I followed up with the city manager, and also the mayor. We had some discussion about it, and the position's still coming open. So at the time for filing, I decided to go for
Excellent. And here you are again. Excellent.
Yeah.
In your history of working, are there any special, qualifications that you feel maybe that are unique to you that you bring to the role?
Well, lifelong resident, that's a big one. I've seen that, and I've seen a lot of communication with regards to that's the only thing that I bring to the table. It's really not, though. I think I bring some good qualities to the role. I have leadership and administrative working for
Yeah.
the county, and that's at the county government level. Um, in my current position, I have experience with building and maintaining the budget for the jail, whether it
Nice.
be my specific department or collaboratively for the jail as a whole. Um, I have a distinguished career in corrections, and that also requires maintaining a high degree of integrity, teamwork, and
Yes.
professionalism. All of those pieces. I think I bring a good balance. A real good
Yeah,
balance that
teamwork
could be very
and
beneficial.
professionalism. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, yeah.
You didn't tell
Just
us you had a dog.
yeah, yeah. You can hear my dog. There must be an Amazon package being dropped off. Yeah, we have two. So
Real life happens all the time,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So what vision do you have for your city of Franklin? Where would you like to see it be?
Where would I like to see Franklin be?
What's your vision for Franklin? Where do you want to see it go to and become?
My vision is, I'd like to see Franklin grow to a place where people want to come and live.
Yeah.
And I'm talking families. I have a family, personally. I think Franklin's a great place. All of the bones are there. The real vision that I have is that Franklin's a thriving, stable, and safe community that attracts people to come live, work, and play here.
Yeah.
There's so much opportunity here. The potential exists for a much brighter experience for our future residents and visitors.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're going to move on to community issues and policy questions. Okay. And just so the watchers know, and I've already explained this to Ben, as well as Sam, is that the questions are the same for every candidate. Sam pre-answered some of my questions, so I didn't have to ask. But Ben is actually behaving and answering the questions as we go. Many residents are concerned about affordability. How would you like to see that addressed, the cost of living addressed in Franklin?
Well, affordability is important to all of us, especially those with families, those with fixed incomes. My parents are on a fixed income. We just had the conversation, this conversation with regards to affordability. Everything has gotten so expensive, whether it's food, utilities, homes, vehicles, everything is just, it's the reality is the cost of living's gone up. The way I plan to address the cost of living in Franklin, just as any other taxpayer would, I would prioritize getting the most out of every tax dollar coming in. Living in Franklin, I'm well aware of, again, the cost of living.
All right. What do you think that the city can do to attract and retain well-paying employers, which is something I think that we're kind of lacking on a little bit?
Yeah, couple things on this. I think it starts with, if we're looking at, opportunity down the road, I think it starts with our youth in funding our schools properly. I think if we fund our schools properly, our future and revitalization of our city, with priority given to city property, of course, the parks, the beaches, the opera house, etc. Well-paying employers will want to be here, where good employable people reside. Just recently, this week, I had the opportunity to tour Watts over on the other side of Ward 1, Webster Valve, essentially. Walking in the door, we were there at the turnover of a shift, and right now they have 7 openings on first shift. When I was walking through during second shift, we observed there to be a lot of individuals working there, not as many from Franklin as I would have expected. They have a lot of openings. They have a lot of opportunity there. I can recall growing up, most everybody I knew from Franklin worked, had friends or family that worked at Watts. Yeah, it was just a very large.
You're just going to have to talk a little bit louder than the dog is barking.
With the dogs going. Yeah, I apologize.
No worries.
No, just walking through there, there's a lot of opportunity. And, and talking with Jeremiah over there, the plant manager, he had expressed the need for more people there. There's an opportunity to grow on the business that they're already doing. I was familiar with their process of Saturday overtime, and he explained to me that they're actually rolling overtime on Sundays because they have so much work.
Wow, that's pretty awesome. So it sounds like there's room to grow.
I think there's a lot of opportunity there.
Infrastructure has been an ongoing issue. What are your plans or your ideas? Because we all know your plans don't necessarily go through, but how would you like to see deferred maintenance, like road repairs, tackled by our city? I'm sorry.
Sure. I think it starts with utilizing the capital improvement plan as intended to use it. Maintenance that has been deferred needs to be one of our top priorities. The roads are certainly a lot, and I think the best way to tackle them is like eating an elephant. It's going to have to be one bite at a time, but we've got to do it. We need to move on it. The commitment has to be there.
Yeah, we just have to do it. We have to step into and do it. Yeah. We recently are there any specific concerns in your ward that you would like to address, and how would you approach them? I know there are specific ones, especially since you're in Ward 1 by the lake. Is there anything you would like addressed or, approached in a certain way?
Well, I mean, the biggest concern, the biggest applicable concern, if you will, that I've found is school funding. I talk to a lot of people about school funding. There's a lot of families over here in Ward 1. A lot of kids in the schools from Ward 1. I think our school funding needs to be addressed from several directions. And I know this kind of carries into the next question, but
that's okay.
I think we really need to take a closer look at our school budget, and we need to maximize every dollar spent. We need to get the most out of every dollar that we're spending. What are the positions? When we look at things, what the highest cost, in our schools is going to be personnel across the board. The highest cost is going to be personnel. What personnel do we have, and what are they doing? What functions are they performing? And if it's needed, it's something that we have to have. However, I think we have to have a close look to start. And then I think the other part of the approach has to be continued advocacy from our city leadership to the state for proper funding.
Yeah.
I really think, we need to keep presenting those numbers of things that we're lacking in, and, just keep everybody abreast.
Excellent. The next question, city council meetings can be long and demanding. How do you plan to stay effective and engaged in those marathon sessions?
Well, I think it starts with showing up. Show up, paying attention. We have to be bringing issues to our mayor and to the city manager to add to the agenda. And I think it's important to do that when we're ready to do so. Have the research ready, have the plan ready, for when things should be presented and added to the agenda. While the meeting's rolling through, I think it's important that we need to all be openly listening to public comment and hear people out, even if we have a predetermined position on something or something that we've discussed in the past. There may be something that comes to light from public comment that it changes things significantly.
I agree.
So I think it's important to maintain an open mind. Participation, participating collaboratively, amongst the group. And of course, there's the simple, following the format of a meeting, following the principles laid out in Robert's Rules of Order.
I don't know anything about that, but it sounds like following a rule of order would be a good idea.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is optional question. Voters will be choosing other leaders, including the mayor. Are you willing to tell us who you publicly support? If you do not want to do so, that is perfectly fine.
I am. I'm perfectly comfortable letting you know that I support Glenn Morrill for mayor. Okay. I think Mr. Morrill. I've known Mr. Morrill a better part of my life. I went to school with both of his children. We did a lot of skiing together growing up at the Veterans Memorial Ski Area. Same group of friends. I think Mr. Morrill's a man of integrity. He's given a lot to our city through his volunteer work over the years. We all used to know him informally as, the informal mayor of Franklin, if you will, because he knew so many people and he did so many things around the city.
Okay, excellent. Thank you for that. So from your perspective, what are Franklin's greatest strengths and how would you build on them as a council member? So that's a double question. What are Franklin's greatest strengths, and can you bake that into your position as a council member?
Absolutely. I think Franklin's greatest strengths are its residents. It's the families, both new to Franklin and, those with a long history here. One of our greatest strengths would be those new families coming to Franklin because they want to be here. I think there's a lot of opportunity to leverage that. We have great parks and places to recreate outside. Over in Ward 1, we have Webster Lake, the Veterans Memorial Ski Area, and of course, we have the rivers. Franklin has a lot of potential being centrally located in the state and the traffic we see through it. Franklin also has a lot of opportunity in the industrial park and manufacturing. I think we can build on all of these opportunities to get people to come live, work, and play here.
Excellent. Closing and personal notes. What do you feel sets you apart from other candidates in your ward or across the city?
I circle right back to I live in Franklin with lived experience. And when I say that, I mean I've been here, my family's here, and they'll be here. My kids are going to school and growing up here. Franklin is our home, and it's where we feel whole.
I like that. That's very nice. Thank you for sharing that. Let your constituents know how they can get in touch with you, or support you or follow you in your campaign.
Sure. If anybody wants to contact me by email, my email is bforge84@gmail.com. I'm happy to meet in person and, and have discussion with anybody.
Excellent. Before we go, is there one final message you'd like to leave with the voters of Franklin?
Absolutely. Just to the other candidates running for open positions amongst the city, thank you for stepping up and putting yourselves out there. This is my first time doing this, and I'm finding that it's not easy. It's a challenge. It's an interesting challenge. It's been pretty fun. To the current members of our school board, city council, committees, and mayor, I appreciate the work you do, and I thank you for that. And then to our residents of our great city, please get out and vote on October 7th. Our local elections have the most profound effect on all of us. Ward 1, you can vote down at the Elks Lodge on October 7th.
Excellent. Thank you so much for coming on and letting us know a little bit more about you and where you're coming from. Everyone, like and subscribe and share with your friends, especially this episode because it's for Ward 1. So if you have friends that live in Ward 1, share the video with them. Okay, thanks.
Very good. Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to the Trestle Times Talks from the Franklin Communications Group. Like, subscribe, and share to support local voices. And if there's news we should cover, our contact info is in the notes. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and stay Franklin strong.